Go live. Right. Welcome, friends and fans, to Writing Corner, writing better characters. Last week we had monsters. Now we have their natural evolution. Actually, last week was villains. This week is their natural evolution monsters. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate, author of the books The Boyhood Arcade, Power Games, and Into Yell's Mouth. Now, before I begin, I'd like to remind you that this channel is sponsored by you, the viewing audience, so please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. The only way to beat the algorithms is to have you, the viewing audience, share out the links and let people know we're live. Well, no, the videos let people know we're here. You don't have to share just when we're live. Share anytime. I get so used to saying it. I get so used to saying it on a live stream, forgetting that not everybody's going to watch it on a live stream. Yes. Right. Share. We are live on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, and X, and just showing up the X link now. Right. Now we all want to write better characters. Now, monsters. Well, monster's just a villain with extra qualities. Well, these qualities will make your skin crawl. In this article, you're going to learn how to exploit fear and loathing to induce fear in your readers. I mean, after all, people do not read about monsters for the tickles. There are 6 things, not 5, 6 things that a monster or villain could do to make your reader's skin crawl. First up is phobias. Now we start with the top 10 list of common phobias. Arachnophobia, the intense fear of spiders and other anacrids. Orthophiliophobia, the intense fear of snakes. Archophobia, the intense fear of heights. Aerophobia, the fear of flying. Xenophobia, the intense fear of dogs. Astrophobia, the fear of thunder and lightning. Pteropophilia phobia, the fear of injections, fear of social interactions, the fear of places that are difficult to escape, or fear of crowded or open spaces. And of course, then there's the last, the fear of germs, dirt, and other contaminants. Most of you are going to be familiar with these, especially if you've seen horror films. I mean, you want to watch. If you really want to watch fear, watch Hitchcock. He goes through them all. In fact, he used birds, not snakes, I think. No, obviously, you can't put them all together in a single character, but you don't start with the first, you start with the weakest, you start with the bottom, you start with the least at the last, and work your way to the top. Now, obviously, you want to use phobias, not just in your villain, but in the settings. Think about it. What's the best jump scare? Where do they occur? Dark, dirty places. See, they exploit primal fears. You want people to be lured into the scene with your description, and then bang, just have the character appear and do something horrible and move on. Now, in a book, you want to detail the dirt, the smells, the cold, the lack of lighting, and then have your villain or monster enter and be completely at ease. Escalate the level of fear with each chapter, but at any one time, only use one phobia or 2. Disgust. Number 2 is disgust. If you really want to make an impression, disgust somebody. Lovecraft did this. He was amazing at body horror. He created a world full of foul beasts using grotesque appearance. To make your villain or monster really stand out, are they hideous in nature or appearance? Of course, they can be both. 3, violence. Now, a good study on violence is A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess, made famous by the Stanley Kubrick film, where they introduced us to raw, naked, and often unprovoked violence. But what makes it stand out is the vigor and joy it brings to the perpetrators. This crosses the line from villain to monster. With monsters like Godzilla, it's the pure destruction for the sake of demonstrating dominance. Most people don't get Godzilla. Why is Godzilla to destroy Tokyo? Because he whips his dick out and says, "I'm the king, you're not," and then proceeds to baseball bat a building into oblivion. That is pure, undated dominance. You set off a nuke, I show you that I'm bigger than that. Helplessness. Now, here's a trope that's often used, the helpless damsel in distress. But trust me, it still works because it's the fear of loss of control. How often the victim is female, and nothing upsets women more than violence against them. However, with a man, you go for the eyes. Nothing makes a strong man more afraid than the idea of being blind. 5, unpredictable. Again, we go back to Clockwork Orange, but what makes a psychopath mode tearing is it's the not knowing when, where, why, how, if they're going to strike. You don't know who they are. A true monster is in human form, in their passive state. They roam looking for their victim. They will be sociable. Even on the hunt, they never stop. Even on the hunt, they never drop the facade. They have nothing but contempt for their victim. For everyone. And in the frenzy attack, be brief, but leave behind a shocking trail of destruction. So not so much the violence, but you mix the violence. It's like, don't have the guy enter a room and then leave with gore. You got to have a bit of violence so that the gore is justified. But you got to leave it to the imagination on on the exact details. Looking for the perspective of the investigator or the witness or even the victim. But in the case of fantasy monsters, go straight for the throat. A mother seeing a child go into the forest or woods, a dark cloud passes over, a bird will fly away, then a child's scream is heard, and then silence. The villagers rush to the scene to find blood-soaked clothing that has been torn from the body. Don't tell me that didn't make your spine shiver or you were starting to tense up. And that is the effect of the unpredictable, the unknown. And a few lines that are light on gore and violence can be more effective than pages of gore. You want to know who or what could do that. For the villagers, they want nothing more than to see it dead. And as you continue on this journey, so will you. You will develop. Now, 6, that's where we get to 6, escalation. You have 2 options. You hit hard and fast, then have the monster hunted, much like a murder mystery, or even a Godzilla movie. Or escalation. Your villain starts off rather timid, a shy thing that might be violent, but hasn't killed yet. But over time, it gets worse and worse until the end, like Clockwork Orange. With escalation, you start with the basic fears and mundane violence. But over time, over the course of chapters or even books, the villain transforms from a Jekyll into the Hyde. These are all classics that have pretty much laid the groundwork for everything from jump scares to body horror. I recommend Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, Vertigo, Birds, most of Hitchcock's movies, Psycho, and of course, the Godzilla movies. And you will have the groundwork for laying out a villain that becomes a monster, or you turn your monster. Okay, let's take Aliens. Remember the scene with Ripley and the aliens just staring at her? Could you imagine how less intimidating it was if it wasn't dripping? You didn't even know what it was dripping, but you knew it was dripping, and that's all you needed to go, ew. That scene with Ripley laid the groundwork more in that scene than the body horror and gore, the chest burst that was all escalation. Aliens is another one for perfect escalation. Well, Alien and Aliens. It's where Prometheus and others have failed. There was no escalation. They hit hard and fast, but then was a slow murder mystery. But you knew that there was no mystery. Should have been a bug hunt, folks. So, there you have it. Now you can check out the article in full on my Patreon. I forgot to share the link. Share the screen. Sorry. Here we go. Patreon/David T. Applegate, me, the author. There we go. Part 6. Got the list. Now, this is the most common. Now, you'll get slight variations in order. Sometimes they'll replace snakes, sometimes dogs, animals, birds in particular. They all change over time. People's love, loathing, and fear. But you can have access to this and many other articles, and of course, support the making of these and other videos and my writing, in which, as you can see, I have a massive collection of writing and artworks. There's my books. Stay a Patreon long enough and you get the books for free. I'll send them to you. But you got to stay a patron long enough, not just join and leave after, and join and leave, or join and leave. Come every few months. But that's neither here nor there. I appreciate the support, but it gets rather annoying when people join and leave, join and leave, join and leave. Because other people think you aren't worth supporting. People assume the worst, and that's pretty much, you can exploit that in your own writing to make your villain a monster or make your monsters memorable. Now, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. Ko-Fi, Patreon, links in the description below on YouTube and Rumble. On X, all my links are in my link tree, as well as my merch and books. Please and thank you. I shall see you all in the next video. Bye for now.